Hi there, I'm just getting set up. If anyone's there, I would love to hear from you, so let me know where you're watching from. And also let me know if you can hear my background music. I don't want it to be distracting, but better than only hearing my creaky floors. Hey everybody, see a couple people on there. Let me know if I'm broadcasting okay. Can you guys hear me? Please type in the chat and say hello if you can hear me. I'm testing out a new microphone and I just want to make sure it's working. Hello, hello. Hoping someone can hear me. Do you guys see the chat window? Just getting some paint set up. See if anyone else is going to join us. Hi, Becky. Where are you today in the world, Becky? Oh, great, Wanda. Glad you can hear me. Thank you. Kansas City. I've been to Kansas City. My cousin went to school in Kansas City. Wanda, where are you today in the world? British Columbia, Canada. Excellent. Hello from under you, under the border. Can you guys hear the music that's playing in the background? First question, can you hear the music? Second question, is it distracting? Just a very, okay. So hopefully not too oppressive. Hi, Curly T. I don't know what your real name is, but I like Curly T. Oh, nice. Oh my gosh, a cross-continent trip. Where did you start your trip and where did you end your trip? And I hope you enjoyed your time in Chicago. But on road trips, it's kind of it can be a big traffic jam. So hopefully you weren't stuck in a traffic jam here. All right, I am getting some blues set up and some oranges today. And I'm just gonna see what happens. Oh, thank you so much, Curly T. It's so nice to have you guys here. Can't hear the music at all? Okay. It's probably good from a YouTube perspective so they don't flag my video, because right now Taylor Swift is playing, so I don't want to get on YouTube's bad side. Okay, well, let's see. So I've got a couple oranges and a couple blues today. And I'm just gonna start. Let's see here. Do some pencil lines. I'll do some graphite lines. This one's actually, you know what? I'm gonna go one page over. Tricked you. I tend to skip pages in my sketchbook just in case I make something amazing and I want to take it out and frame it or give it to somebody or sell it. Vancouver, straight across to Detroit, Ontario. Wow. It sounds like a very pretty trip, but quite a long trip. Kudos to you for exploring the continent. I've driven to Florida, I've driven to Virginia, and I've driven to Colorado from Chicago, but I've never gone further west than Colorado. Driving alone or driving in the desert just creeps me out. I feel like my car would break down and I'd be trapped, and I've seen too many movies make that too scary for me. All right, some graphite here. I'll add a little white just to smoosh it around a bit. Utah. You know what? I've never been to Utah, but I've heard amazing things. My husband has been hiking and backpacking all over Utah, and at some point I would love to go. I've been west of Colorado. I've just never done a road trip west of Colorado. Where in Utah are you? All right, so I've got two blues that are my favorite two blues to work with. This first one is called Payne's Gray, but it's, you know, you can see it's basically a blue. I don't know the story behind it, but one day I will look it up. It's kind of a nice navy. Just south of Salt Lake City, nice. And this blue is Prussian blue, so it doesn't have as much black in it for sure. Been anxious lately, so I'm hoping these blues will aid in chilling me out. All right, if you're there, let me know where you're from, and what else? Let's see. What do we want to know about you guys? What you're from, and what you're if you are a painter or an artist, what is your favorite subject matter? Do you like abstract? If you're abstract, tell me what your favorite color to use is. And if you are a realistic painter, then tell me what your favorite subject matter is. Oh, Becky, you've been anxious too. Yeah, it's kind of a crazy world right now. On top of any individual personal stuff we're all going through, right? Everyone's going through something. Good thing we've got art to focus on, and for me, art's kind of like a mindfulness practice. If I'm coloring or painting or sketching or anything, I'm thinking about that and making artistic decisions instead of thinking about all the other scary things I could be thinking of. All right, let's see here. You know what? I'm going to use this. I apologize for anyone's ears. Turn your volume down for a second while I blow dry this. All right, sorry, turn your volume back up. Okay. Annie, Southwest Suburbs, which one? It's nice to see a fellow Chicagoan. All right. Now we're getting some fun combinations. I try to remember to do the hairdryer in between layers. When you're switching from warm colors to cool colors, or in this case, from cool colors to warm colors, it's really helpful so you don't turn everything brown. But sometimes I'm just too impatient and I just keep going. Abstract portraits, cool. Yeah, I really like abstract portraits, and I really like too. Kind of new for me is abstract florals, like the I don't know, when it's almost so abstract you can't tell it's even flowers, but it just looks happy. I really like that. I might try to play around with that at some point in life. Oh, you've been learning from me how to quiet areas down, Curly T. That's so nice to hear. I'm glad that I'm helping. At least I hope I'm helping. That is one of the hardest things for me to do. So you'll probably see many videos from me on how to do that because I need the reminders myself. All right, let's see. I think I'm going to get out my big marker. So this is a refillable Montana marker. So you just buy an empty marker and I add golden high flow acrylics to it. Let's see. And you can make pretty big monster marks up here. All right. Oh, Becky. You know what? I think you asked me what my favorite color is. My favorite color, if you ask my daughter, she'll tell you that my favorite color is rainbow. And I don't think she's wrong. I feel like it's a pretty accurate thing because it just depends. Like my favorite color to wear is probably black. It's definitely black. My favorite color to paint with, I almost always have red somewhere. But my favorite color to look at in my house is probably blue, like blue and white things. So it's all over the place. Oh, colored and coloring books? Well, I have 3 young kids, so I'm not against coloring and coloring books. I really like to do coloring sheets with my daughter at night. She really enjoys, well, it's just one way to calm kids down. I have 2 6-year-olds and a 5-year-old, and they're all a little spazzy at nighttime lately. So if they don't want to read a book, then I suggest coloring. So we get out coloring sheets or coloring books, and they pick one, and lots of times they'll direct me as to what to color, and sometimes they give me my own free choice. Hi Sonia, it's nice to see you in the UK. Thanks for joining us. Wanda Abstract, acrylics, landscapes and oils, and soft pastels. Oh great, Wanda, I would love to see them. If you have pictures, email them to me. You can go to my website and my email's on there. I would love to see them. Oh, twins. 15, so 2 of them are 15-year-old twins and 16, yes. Oh my goodness, is it your daughter or your son? Because whoever it is, I'm sure you understand that it is busy with twins and then a third. It's pretty crazy. It's kind of a circus at our house. My friends that have one child, I'm sure, look at me and they're like, well, why don't you just do the other things? Why don't you just, do the mommy and music class and take them to the store for groceries? And I'm like, no, I don't think so, because I don't think anyone wants to hear my children all going crazy and me only having 2 arms to carry them through. Just about killed them. Yeah, I can relate. I can relate. I think we're on the upswing now. But yeah, the first few years were brutal. My husband used to travel all the time for work. So I was home either with my mom over, or we eventually had some babysitters come and just help me. But yeah, it was a lot. I feel like any's a lot. Good thing they're so cute. Oh, thanks, Sonia. Music's not too bad. All right, well, this is looking interesting. What do I want to do with it? I should have sharpened some more pencils before I got on here. Let's see here. Here's one. All right. I'm trying not to think, but whenever I try not to think, I tend to make the same types of marks. So I'm trying to think just enough to do something different than I normally do. Yes, Becky, they do keep each other busy. That was one nice thing about COVID. It was a little crazy keeping them all home with me for 18 months, but the nice thing was they at least had each other, so they weren't bored out of their minds, which I think a lot of kids were that were home without siblings. So I will be forever thankful for that. All right. This Prussian blue is kind of nice. It definitely brightens things up. All right, these are all straight out of the bottle colors as well. I haven't mixed anything yet, which I think I'm going to do next. Let's see. Get some of this extra paint off. So taking the extra paint off does 2 things. One, it helps it dry a little faster because it gets to a thinner layer. Excuse me. The other thing it does is it kind of creates some interesting textures. Sometimes you want and sometimes you don't, but today I'm looking for. What did I just say I was going to do? I don't know. I'm just winging this. So let's. I'm going to add a bit. Oh, I was going to mix colors. That's what I was going to do. All right, so I'm going to add some cream also. And maybe some yellow ochre. I know you guys can't see my palette. Sorry about that. my sketchbook is so small, I wanted to zoom in a bit so that you can at least see, hopefully see what's going on there. Thanks, Becky. I'm glad you're paying attention. Clearly I was not. I shouldn't say that. I am 1000% sure I have some form of ADD, so I'm great in a crisis because that way everything is immediate, but if it's not a crisis, I get distracted whenever I see squirrels, etc. All right, here this looks like a bit of a mess, or a huge mess at this point. I'm just looking to build up layers, so it doesn't have to look like anything just yet. All right, I'm gonna mix some of the yellow ochre with some white, which will give me a nice creamy color. All right, let's add some of this on. So I don't know if you can tell on your screen, well, of course it's mixing with the yellow ochre on the paper too, but you can see like this is just a creamier white than that white, which I like. Warms it up a little bit, or a lot. What size sketchbook? This is an 8.5, 8.5 by 5. It's a handbook brand, Handbook. I really like it because the pages are just a bit thicker and the cover's nice, so I can show you this cover. So this is just a blue cover. I did this design, but they're nice. They're nice to travel with. I'm actually traveling for the first time on a plane since COVID. And honestly, it's the first time that I've gone anywhere since my honeymoon, which is sad. My honeymoon was 8 years ago. To the point about raising children, I've been home for a very long time. My husband and I are going to Florida next week for a few days because he has a work trip and I'm tagging along. And I was just thinking about what art supplies I should bring, and I'm definitely going to bring one of these sketchbooks so I can at least bring some pastels or crayons and paint on the plane. So you guys can all wish my mom good luck. She'll be here with our children for my first time away from our children. Also, and since they were born 6 years ago, I think the boys will be fine. My daughter is a little nervous, to say the least. Any advice from experienced parents on how to handle that? I'm all ears. Mom has help. You know what? I did. I have a babysitter coming on one of the days, and the kids will be at school for 3 of the days that we're gone. So she'll really only have to deal with the morning rush, which is a little chaotic. And then they'll be at school for most of the days. So on Saturday, the first full day, she's going to have some help coming over. And then we'll be home Sunday, I think around noon. James, good thinking. Yeah, I wasn't sure about that, if we should FaceTime them or not, or if that's just going to remind them that we're gone. Good advice. Compartmentalize my mom's side. What does that mean? Try not to think of them when I'm gone, so that I don't get weird. Is that what you mean, Annie? All right. Yeah, I was wondering about that myself. I didn't get, you know, maybe I'm like a heartless person. I don't think I am. I think I'm like so burned out just because of my kids being home all summer and still having them home for 18 months during COVID. I think I'm still burned out from that. So I was thrilled when the youngest started kindergarten this year. I wasn't like teary or anything. I was like, yes, get on the school bus, go. Oh, nice. Yes. Yes, something, we'll give them some special things for sure. And something special for my mom, that's true. Good point. I will get her something. Maybe I'll get her a gift certificate for a massage or something afterwards. All right, guys. Watch your volume for a second. I'm going to do the hair. All right, volume can come back up. I think I need to get some collage on here because it is looking pretty crazy. Too much. There's no real focal point at all, which I'm trying to fix by using some collage paper here. I just happen to have some extra blues. Thumbs up for Jackie. Yes, I'm thrilled. I realized that I had no clothes suitable for Florida. So I've been shopping like a crazy person, trying to find some clothes. I'm very tall, so it's hard for me to find clothes at times. I'm 6'2", which I realize that you guys have no idea since I live in your computers. But I think I've got enough options for this. The challenge for me will be talking to other adults in the corporate world, since I myself have been out of the corporate world for 11 years. No, 7 years. Seems like 11. So that'll be a challenge. All right, let's see here. Like that. You can see, kind of we were talking about earlier, quieting down spaces. You can quiet things down with black too. You can quiet things down with any color, just to take away some of the contrast, even though it's added some contrast with the clear areas. I like that here. Do it this way. My journal has rounded edges, and this square piece I'm adding has square edges, but I'm just going to trim that when everything's dry. So you can tell it's hanging off the edge a bit, but no big deal. It's easier to trim things off later than it is to try and match them up when you're working. At least that's what I've found. Go to this. What's everyone doing this weekend? Any big plans? My husband recently got promoted at work, thus the work trip. This is clogged. But I got him a present that I'm going to give him tomorrow at dinner, which I'm so excited about, and he has no idea. He's typically the guy who's like, oh, I don't know, I don't want any presents, just give me $100 towards, you know, plants for the garden and the landscaping. So he usually gets clothes and other things. He's very, very practical. And my my love language is gifts. So I am totally ignoring him this time when he says he doesn't want anything. And I got him a nice gift. So I'm not going to tell you because this will be out saved on the internet tonight or later today. And I'm not going to give it to him until tomorrow. But if anyone's curious, you guys can ask me later. And I really hope he likes it, because returning it might be a hassle. So you see, like when I put things down, if I put this scrap here, it kind of blends in, right? It kind of ties these two whiter areas together and it looks like it blends in. If I put it down here against this darker shade, now it becomes a high contrast area. So even if you're not aware of why pieces work in some places and not others, there are reasons. And I think I'm going to do this somewhere over here so that it kind of blends these two areas together. Just don't know where. This is my kids' math homework from last year. Oh, the indecision. It's just paper, Jackie. Stick it down. I recommend talking to yourself out loud if you get stuck. I'm looking for differences. This has a lot of high contrast, but let's see if it works over here. Do I make my collage paper? Becky, you know what? I make a lot of it. Like this was actually, I painted something black and then I, did this and took a lot of the black off the painting. So that's what this came from. I do make a lot of my own collage. I find that it really helps my work feel like me. I do also use magazines, or like right here's a book page. So I do use other things as well. I really enjoy making my own. And a lot of it I make unintentionally. Much like this black piece, right? That pulled it up, it looks pretty cool, so I set it aside. getting to very grid-like, which I'm not sure I like, and I'm not sure I don't like. So I'll keep working on it. Although this is a little bit too similar to some of the other shapes I have. So, trim it down a bit. Does anybody else have any questions? Now, sometimes I get stuck in this where I keep adding, this is a really busy piece of collage paper, and this is already extremely busy. So sometimes I get stuck adding more and more and more busy things. So what I will do in that case is try to add something that's not so busy and cover something up. However, the scale is totally off from what I'm looking for. So I'm going to use paint. And I'm going to use, you know what, I'm going to use my brayer. So I'm going to get some of this off. So it's not too thick, but so the brayer will allow me to quiet some of this down quickly, but I can do that, and then I have my spray bottle, so I can spray it. If I wait a couple minutes, I can soak it up. Oh, thanks. Thanks, Curly T. Yeah, you know what? And you don't have to match things up. I just like to because it feels like a game. It feels nice for me to find the pieces that fit together. I guess I kind of take it as like a sign, like, oh, okay, this one's supposed to be here. Try not to think about it too much. All right, and that didn't take off as much as I'd hoped, so I'm going to go over with baby wipe and just try to scrape away a little bit more. You certainly don't have to brayer over everything. Try to do a couple small spaces here. Now I need, well, more paint, a little quieter. You don't realize how much you mutter to yourself until you are on a YouTube live and feeling self-conscious. All right, the left side is quieted down a bit more, but the right side, I just want a bit more. Yes, Becky, it really is. My muttering is part of my creative process, apparently. If you want to have softer transitions, you can use a baby wipe or a paper towel to just take a little bit away, so things aren't so boxy. Okay, I think I want some more Payne's Gray now. And you know, I don't know if you guys have noticed, I've only been using my color shaper to put paint on today. Is that true? I guess I used my palette knife to do some of these orange things. But you don't need to have a ton of tools to put down, excuse me, a ton of art. However, now I'm going to do, you know what? No, I'm not going to do that first. I'm going to make sure this is dry. Hold your ears. All right, I'm going to do a quick, I'm just going to put some gel medium over the, or not gel medium, matte medium, gloss medium. Wow, why is that so hard for me to remember? All over this, just so I can seal it in. Some of the tissue paper peeled up here when I was using the wipe to wipe it down. And I don't want that to keep rubbing away. And the best part about this is it dries so fast. So that shouldn't be an issue. But you want to try and get it away from your journal pages so they don't stick to it. So when you put it down, maybe move your paper over a bit so it doesn't stick to it. Okay, now that that's done, I'm going to do a bit of glazing because I want to have some more blue, but I think I want light blue. So I'm going to mix up some Payne's Gray and white. I use a lot of baby wipes. I use it to wipe off my palette knife. I use baby wipes for a lot of things. So even though our kids are toilet trained, we still buy our baby wipes at Costco because I still use them every day in my art room. And we still use them to clean up quick messes in the kitchen. All right, let's see, this is not as light as I had hoped. All right, this will do. One of the reasons I like using the color shaper is it just, well, A, it's the easiest thing, it's the easiest tool to clean. It really is the easiest tool to clean. So I'm going to add some blue here. Soften these edges a bit. Okay, more hair dryer, sorry. Oh, you use tracing paper for underneath your journal pages? That's a good idea. I use like deli paper, or like, yeah, I think it's called deli paper. I use that normally, but sometimes it gets too floppy. And I feel like it sticks to that too. So maybe I'll try your tracing paper. Okay, so now what I want to do, this is hopefully dry. So now I want to do some glazing. And this is a little too baby blue for me. So I'm going to take some Prussian blue and just put a little bit, this is actually kind of a lot, but put some on a baby wipe. And I'm going to go out from some of these other areas and wipe some on and then wipe some off. And every time you wipe it off, some of it will stay. So it's a bit of a balance trying to decide what you want. But I really like that it changes the value and the feel of your painting in just very subtle changes. So it helps to blend colors together. It helps if you don't want a baby blue picture, but you do want more blue, but not completely opaque. I'm going to try some Prussian blue too. I think the Prussian blue, maybe I'll mix them together. I think the Prussian blue is a little too poppy for what I'm going for. Maybe somewhere in the middle. Let's try this. It's a little bit brighter, still pretty Payne's gray-like, a little bit brighter. You do have to act fast if you want to wipe things off. Otherwise, it will set. You won't have any more options. This is just a roll of paper towels. I'm just keeping it on the roll because it's simpler for me. All right, now I'm going to do, make sure this is dry, which it's not. All right, hair dryer. All right, so that was glazing with some blue that just blended things together a little bit more. Now I'm going to glaze with some quinacridone gold, which will help me warm this up a lot. Again, no rhyme or reason, just moving it around my page. See that a little bit goes a long way. Let's see. I like how it brings more attention to the orange as well. Then if you want, you can also do a little bit of water again, and you'll get more depth. Let's see if I did that fast enough. All right, I think what I need now is some black. Oh, maybe some more well-defined blue first. Kind of like that. All right, let's see if my dots did anything here. Not really. It's okay. All right, let's put this on. Whoops, that is white. I've done that too many times. That's white. This is medium. That was close. But then we would just use, oops, I'm doing it over here. And we would just have, almost did it again. Just have a white party on our hands, no big deal. Okay. This is tape that I had used for some like elaborate taping off of a different project. And because it's tape, it kind of has a mind of its own when it comes to putting it down. You can use a thicker gel that would help stick it down flat quickly. But since I'm just using medium, I'm going to have to baby this a little bit. And by that I just mean hold it down for a little bit until it, not until it cures, I guess, but just enough so it gets tacky and sticks there. I do have some soft gel somewhere, but if you haven't noticed, I don't know if lazy is the right word. I think more just I'm efficient with my time. I like to just keep going if I'm on a streak. The water drop technique, it does work on most acrylics, yes. It's not a certain type. Does it need to be thinly applied? Yes, because otherwise the rest of the paint is still going to be wet when you go to lift it up, and you'll end up lifting a lot of the other paint as well if it's on too thick. So relatively thinly applied, but you have to act quick because acrylic dries so fast when it's thin. So just try it a few times and try waiting different amounts of time, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. But when it works, and it works well, I find it quite satisfying. I just saw this out of the corner of my eye. Some turquoise from something else. Let's see if this has a home here. Everything's very vertical, so what if I go horizontally? I think it will, but I'm going to make it smaller, unless I put it here. Oh, Becky, that's a good point. I haven't used craft paints for a long time, so that is good advice. So I use it with Golden paints. I use these fluid acrylics from Golden, and I also use a ton of stuff from Novacolor paints. So if you're in the US, you can get Novacolor. I think they ship elsewhere, but shipping's not the cheapest in the US as it is, so I'm not sure it would be worth your money to get it from somewhere else. I mean, to get it from Novacolor here, shipped to you. But you can certainly look online and check. Now I can't remember where I had this that I liked it. It's that squirrel in my brain again. I still feel like there's just a lot kind of widely dispersed. It's not a whole lot of focal point. Right now this seems to be my focal point on this side. I need something bigger, so I'm going to be adding some black soon. So for me, black is my statement color. this little pop of turquoise is fun. I'll put one here just for fun. Get into a position where you haven't added enough medium, just put some more down and shove it underneath the paper. It'll still work. Okay, now it's time for me to bring out my favorite secret weapon. I have this brush that is very, very tired, and I'm going to use it with some fluid black paint. Excuse me, high flow black paint. And I use it a bit like I were dipping it into an inkwell. And because it's such a random brush, and it's so used and so well loved, it makes unexpected marks. And I can't really always tell what it's going to do. But it's bold, and I really like that. I think I'll go up this way too, and maybe we'll go like this. And since I just colored over these other areas that I liked, I'm going to wipe that away a bit. So I'm holding this on a stick, an actual stick from the beach, and that helps me get a little distance away from the brush so that I really can't be very intentional about what I'm doing. Because I can't have very much control. It just doesn't work. All right, so now I've got some strength there. All right, let me blow dry this. All right. The last thing I'm going to do is just add a bit of color here. Needs just a little something. I like the kind of ethereal marks it leaves when I wipe it away when it's not all the way dry yet. Just gives a little kiss of red. All right, it still looks a bit like I just placed the black on top, so I'm going to work this in a little bit. just to connect it a bit more. And then I'm going to call this one done. All right, everybody, that's what it's going to be for today. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you learned something new. It's nice to see all of you guys from all over the world, and I hope you have a wonderful weekend. If you have any questions that I didn't get to, please leave them in the comments. And I'll be posting this just to the regular video feed as soon as it downloads and then re-uploads. So it'll take probably a few hours. All right, bye everybody.